In this episode, I am going to be talking about energetic alignment and why it's not taught together with business building. I'm also going to talk and break down the business building programs and courses out there and how they exclude certain people, certain communities, certain types of brains and energies that don't align with that entrepreneur or that coach, and also how that led me to creating Business Activation Academy, which opens again in December, and I would love to see you there. So if you are as excited as I am about this episode, let's just dive right into it. I'm your host, Tiffany Chung, your go-to for all things marketing, mindset, and manifestation. I grew my online business from 0 to beyond 6 figures in 8 months. My purpose is to empower women to step into the highest, most aligned versions of themselves. If you are ready to take charge of your life, learn how to design a wildly successful business, and leave limiting beliefs behind, you've come to the right place. You will learn the actionable tips and step-by-step strategies on money, manifestation, and social media. It's time to step into your role as boss, to raise your vibration, and tap into your unlimited potential today. Welcome to the Social Reset Podcast. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Social Reset Podcast. I'm excited about this one because I have a lot of thoughts to share with you, so let's dive right into it. Over the past, I would say, nearly 2 years in business, so this is my second year, and my second year will be up around April of 2022. So I guess that is kind of coming up pretty fast, which I'm like, whoa. But I have, throughout my time of being a business owner, I've indulged and invested in a number of programs. I'm not going to name any specific names and programs or entrepreneurs because that's truly not what this episode is about. I want to take the strategy, the methods, the processes, rather than making it about the people, because it really isn't about the people, right? Because when you think about it, it dates, a lot of this dates back into history, and it dates back into why we've become this, strategy focused, homogeneous society that wants to do things in a certain way and accept certain things over others. So what I really want to focus on here is why Business Activation Academy was created, my signature offer where you can align your unique business with your unique energy and create your first or next coaching offer. And I want to talk about why energetic alignment isn't taught inside traditional business building. And I think it's important to have this conversation, and that's really what I want this to be, is an open conversation where it gets you thinking and it gets you contemplating maybe some of the business strategies that you've been taught, maybe some of the business coaches you've worked with, different courses and programs that you have been a part of, and really just breaking it down to think about, okay, how can I approach this in a way that really honors who I am at my core? And to be honest, a lot of the courses and the programs that I've been a part of didn't honor who I was. It was more so creating like this copy and paste, tactic of let me teach my process and have all of the students do the exact same process is essentially what it felt like. And I think that worked for a while, and I understand the intent behind this 100%, right? Because if you do something and it works, then shouldn't it work for everybody else? But I think that this excludes, especially if this creator, which there are so many in this space, if the creator is a white, cisgendered, heterosexual, male identifying individual inside society, they are going to have certain privileges that they're able to share from their biases. And we're never unbiased. We're also always like connected to our, whatever it might be, our ethnocentrism, our cultural, contexts, and all of the things that make up who we are. Right? So if we see a bunch of white males dominating this space, it results in a lot of women, and particularly women of color, that are attempting to show up like these males have taught us to, saying, hey, if you follow this formula and this way of doing business, you're gonna succeed, without thinking of, well, this is what worked for them as a white cis hetero male might not work for a queer Asian American woman or a trans person of color who is maybe in a polyamorous relationship, or is, right? Like something that steps out of the box of what we see as the status quo. And so I feel like there are so many people that get excluded in that conversation, in that space, in these programs, that don't get talked about enough. And that's why in Business Activation Academy, which I created this year and launched for the first time in August, and I'm launching again in December, I created this because I really want to focus on, okay, how can I create a program that truly honors who each person is at their core? That's why I tie in human design from the very beginning, so that you're able to really utilize it throughout the entire program as you're building your offer. It's why I help you to tap into your subconscious programming, as well as your thought system, your belief system, your value system, along with your energy, in order to design an offer that's perfect for you. And then when you approach marketing, when you approach sales, when you approach talking about your offer, you do so in a way that connects you with your community, and in a way where you are partnering with yourself, you're partnering with your business, you're partnering with your nervous system and your body, your somatic responses, in a way that makes sense and feels good to you, right? I think that there is a conversation that needs to be had where someone who comes from a place of privilege and maybe doesn't completely understand the experiences of prejudice, racism, microaggressions, can really just say, oh, just push through your fear, and call that imposter syndrome, where sometimes it can be imposter syndrome. But for somebody who is, right, a person of color, someone who is in a marginalized community, they experience fear because of generational trauma, right? Because there have been genocides in their lineage, because there have been there's been slavery in their lineage, there has been child marriage or violence, right? In any type of way where it is more, there are more challenges in order to break through for them to get to the other side and to be able to heal, because it is a trauma response versus just good old fear. So I think it's important to have that context and have that cultural context, especially as a coach, and especially if you are coaching women and women of color, because we live in this homogenous society where we want things to be one and the same, and anything that is outside of that, like neurodiversity, depression, anxiety, ADHD, right, are all seen. These are all seen as other, right? So this also dates back to, not dates, but this links back back to xenophobia, which is the fear of the other. So xenophobia is essentially like something looks different. There is a different tradition. People are wearing different types of attire. People are worshiping different gods. People have different skin tones. They're talking in different languages. They have different traditions, maybe where they're dancing and singing together, right? So this is something that back through colonialism, we've labeled, or the white man has labeled as barbaric, a strange, weird, right, out of place from the collective. And so over time, these traditions and these cultures have kind of stifled their voices and their true patterns because they're afraid to show up as their true selves. So honoring one's own energy is actually less profitable for some coaches who are trained to do it their way and want people to follow one strategy, one formula, make it simple, bada boom, bada bing, whatever, and follow one way of doing things. And so I've seen and bought a lot of these programs where I would go in and I would try and I'd be like, okay, this is amazing. The sales page totally sucked me in. I've invested in myself. I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go, right? I'm rearing to go. And then I follow these strategies that are essentially so simple and then maybe work for other people who also have experienced, have the same cultural context as the entrepreneur, the leader, the coach. And then I find myself going, what is wrong with me? Why doesn't this work for me, right? And this might not even be in the context of race and ethnicity. This might also be like a neuro-linguistic, neurodiverse type of conversation where somebody is very, very much like left arrows in human design, where they are so much more, focused on a strategy, and they're maybe a little bit more of a planner or more organized, whereas all my arrows point to the right. And so I am so much more flowy, and I don't really love numbers, and I don't like metrics, and I don't track shit, and I don't have analytics, like screaming out of my ass, because I just don't like those things. I don't like planning out every single launch. I don't like having full, complete email sequences that do all of the work for me. I kind of want things to come out of the fly. I want things to just like fall out of my mouth and kind of dump out whoever I am in front of my audience and trust that they're just going to love me for who I am. And so there is a part of me that doesn't enjoy the strategy that comes with planning and evaluating and the analytics. And it makes me feel, when I'm a part of these courses where everybody's on top of it and everybody is somehow a CPA now and knows how to, track their numbers and do all of this bullshit that I don't know how to do, that there's something wrong with me. And the reason that I created Business Activation Academy is because I believe that regardless of who you are, I want to embrace the diversity that is coming into the coaching sphere, and to not put that into a box and then ship it out like all of the other boxes and packages so that they all look the same in this, packaging, in this like brown packaged box, and ship it out through UPS. Like, I want there to be colorful, sequined, sparkly boxes and packages, and maybe it's not shaped like a square, maybe it's a circle, maybe it's a triangle. I don't know, right? My brain's just giving me these visuals of like fun looking boxes. And so that's what I want to honor, is that not everyone's brain is going to act the same. Not everybody's actions are going to look the same. Not everybody is going to, fall into this pattern of consistency and discipline and call that successful, because maybe their level of success is taking a couple of naps throughout the week and through their work week, and taking action intentionally in a different way. And it's going to look different, and it's not bad, right? It's not bad. And I think that this is an important conversation to have, that not all business building programs are fit for all types of people, because there are so many different types of people where our brains do work in so many different ways, where we do have different types of trauma, where we do have different generational wounds that have been passed down to us, where we are working through different things. And we're going to approach our business in different ways. And so the reason I created this academy is because I want to honor that. And I want to teach you that what you've been primed to feel shame around your entire life is actually the thing that is your secret sauce. It's your magic. It is the entire reason the world needs more people like you. And that's truly, truly, truly what I believe. I think that it's so important and so powerful to stand firm in that. And the more you do, the more you attract your people, and the people who really resonate with the type of magic, the type of magic sauce that you have to offer. I also wanted to share a couple of other reasons why I believe energetics and energetic alignment haven't been taught with business building. So entrepreneurship is rooted in industrialism and in capitalism, where gain is focused on power, on wealth, on taking action. So a lot of marketing, like let's just call it corporate marketing, widespread mass marketing, is speaking to the masses. It's speaking to metrics, right? It's not speaking to one-on-one individual people. And when you're a coach, you are working one-on-one with people, right? You might have a group program, you might have a mastermind, but it's not the millions and millions of people where you're just tracking metrics and seeing people as numbers. You are serving people. And I think it's important to recognize that also we live in a society that has this kind of microwave culture where even the microwave isn't fast enough, and we want results and we want them yesterday. So alignment and embodiment in business, it takes time, it takes patience. It's not something that can be taught with a strict mold, and it's not replicable from one coach to the next, and neither are you. And so the strategies that are taught and expected to be followed through from, one coach to the next person to the next person to the next person doesn't work, and also excludes already marginalized communities, sometimes marginalizing them even further, because our brains and our businesses are meant to be built and approached differently. Colonialism is also something that I brought up a little bit earlier, but it's worth mentioning, because through colonialism, we have been taught that energetic alignment is not the way of approaching business, right? So through colonialism and the patriarchy, we have decided what's professional and what's not professional. And so there was a time where sacred indigenous communities and tribes and cultures were labeled barbaric for loving the earth, loving one another, living in a holistic way. And women, medicine women, witches, they were the wise healers, right? They were revered in society. But through the patriarchy, through colonialism, women were deemed as less than, as inferior. So then created this world through the help of capitalism as well, right? This drive for high-performing, productivity-based, data-driven, professional business that was then created by men for men, that runs through men's energy cycles, which are daily, that runs with men's schedule, which didn't include raising children, and really created this kind of corporate culture and professionalism type world. Through that, we're also taught to trust facts and not our feelings. So from a young age, you might have been told, like, listen to logic, look for the proof, look for evidence, don't listen to your emotions, don't be too emotional. Being vulnerable is going to be seen as less than, right? So we're primed to look for evidence. We're primed to look for data and then choose the logical route. Our brains are really good at storing memories, right? But it's our bodies that hold the codes to knowing, the codes contributes to everything that we need. And because men have been taught to kind of stifle and repress their emotions a lot more than women, and men are the ones that created the financial system, and as well as business and entrepreneurship in the beginning, they are the ones that have created this kind of non-emotional space where when women go into business, a lot of women attempt to show up like a man, try to act like a man. And even when they are included in boardroom meetings, they are talked over, they are interrupted, they are dismissed, right? They're seen as too emotional. They are still seen as less than. So that's what it results in. And then also alignment, energetic alignment includes doing the inner work, which is something that a lot of people want to avoid, right? It's also something that I think that we feel shame over, where we should have had this done already, or I don't want to spend time taking care of myself or going to therapy. So there are just so many things that gets held in our bodies somatically, and it requires us to shed our old selves and take 100% responsibility, right? So it's very uncomfortable, but it's also by far the most fulfilling. It is the most rewarding, and it's the most profitable way of doing business when you're able to truly listen to yourself, tap into what it is that you need, and being able to honor that. All right, so I'm excited to hear your thoughts about this episode. I'm excited if this resonated with you. I'm excited to see you inside the December launch of BAA. This is where we do all of that work. We talk about the systems of supremacy and how it has truly held women back in so many different ways, and then be able to break through those barriers and glass ceilings in order to unleash the magic within that's meant to be shared with the world, your secret sauce, the way that you show up in business. And I think honoring that unique energy that's inside you is the best and only way to do this work. So if you're excited and you're feeling called, I am including the waitlist for BAA in the show notes, and you can always DM me with any questions that you have. All right, I will catch you later. Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe. If this episode resonated with you, please take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at tiffanychung.co. I truly appreciate interacting with every one of you. Catch you all on the next one.